I roll up my sleeve like we do at the NDP, and we work for the people. We work for our values and a better Canada. And for now, I've got to meet these great people, Nikki, Charmaine, and Matthew, and I'm really happy to be here with you tonight, guys.
In the audience tonight, we've got somebody, our own Elaine, who's just going to come up here, and Elaine was going to tell you how she knows Nikki.
Well, Nikki. And I also knew Nikki herself while she was still a gleam in her parents' eyes.
and before Nikki knew who she was.
That's right. And so we really got reacquainted at the leadership convention after I put my first ballot in for Nikki Ashton.
Our critic on Labour asked if the government was going to continue its trend and come with back to work legislation for the NHL. So we haven't lost our humor entirely. It was great. Actually, it may or may not be replayed, but go on CPAC. It was really fun.
Another thing I'm working on right now is a digital strategy for Canada, because we've been promised one since the Tony Clement days when he was Industry Minister, and we still don't have one under Kahadzi, although he says it's coming. But it's like the Penske file. You guys know what that is in Seinfeld? The file that doesn't really exist but everyone refers to. So this is my comparison. The digital file is now the Penske file for this government. So I want to work proactively to make sure that Canada, to introduce our vision of what a digital strategy for Canada would look like. And I won't reveal the details yet because it's coming out soon, but I will say that there's five main aspects to it, 5 main category file on our side. So I just want to end with a little joke here about my digital issues and my name. The day after I got named Digital Issues Critic, there was a tweet, and Thomas came to me the next day and he thought it was hilarious. It said, "We're very concerned that the NDP decided to give the digital issues file to a board."
Foreign affairs. But where it's important is that there's a huge amount of money that's put into these programs by the government. I think that for us going forward, as you know, trying to show people that we have done our homework and that we're able to manage the public purse in an appropriate way, it's the kind of file that becomes that much more important because it's about making sure that people are aware that these respectable amounts of money are being dealt with appropriately. And I'll put a number behind that with a focus on concussion. That's been a big issue. And we've noticed that a lot of sports organizations neglect the medical mysteries behind that and don't put in place appropriate protocols. And we want to avoid government interference in sports, but at the end of the day, when it's to a point where they're not doing anything and people's health is being put in jeopardy day after day, there's a point where you have to act, and that's what we want to do with this legislation.
The status of women file obviously is something that's in the hearts of New Democrats and so many progressive Canadians next week. I mean, who would think that almost 25 years after the debate around women's choice was settled, in a debate that so many Canadians respect, that our federal government would be dragging us through the mud on this again, and really making it a question of the hypocrisy that they've shown. I mean, you'll hear one thing from Harper, that they're not willing to reopen the abortion debate. Their backbenchers will say quite another, and again today in the media it's out there. And all the while they're trying to convince us of various things and fan the flames of regression along the way.
Actually, it's kind of frustrating and disappointing right now, because I think we have a government right now that completely evacuated foreign affairs from their policies. I think that they're rooted here, you know, because Canada was such a great country, you know, recognized all over the world, but now this government just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't wish to go further. He doesn't wish to have that image of Canada that everybody was dreaming about when they came here 20, 30, 50 years ago, even now, 5 years ago. So I think that's so frustrating, because you're trying to tell them that's not the way to go. But for them, they have their own ideas. They have their own ideas. They have their own choices they've made their choices, and they defend their own causes, but it's not the ones that are in the interest of Canadians.